So I feel like South African political parties have not addressed gender-based violence properly. And I'm saying this because, number one, a lot of them speak about it like it's an afterthought. Like they give me the vibe that, oh, it was 11:55, the deadline for the manifesto was 11:59, and then they realized that they didn't really speak about gender-based violence, so that now they want to appease women. They're gonna add just feminist jargon there, speak about maybe the words and the legacy of bell hooks and Audre Lorde, and then very carelessly mention the names of martyrs that really have strings in our hearts, right? That's why I don't like to mention the names of these martyrs. I'll just allude to some of their stories, because I feel like for me it's disrespectful for me to reduce your story to how you got killed or how a man violated you. That's not fair to you. That's not fair to your story. And I think the lack of sensitivity around that just shows me that these political parties are not serious about actually fixing the country, because fixing the country isn't just the topics that we're seeing on Twitter every day, in terms of addressing land expropriation and all these abstract topics. We're talking about topics that affect and impede on our freedom of movement, freedom of speech, freedom of dignity every single day. When women can't get into Ubers past a specific time, when women can't do things past a specific time, then how are you going to address that? I'm just looking at my mirror here I'm not reading on something, but like, even when it comes to how safe I feel when I'm in the US versus how safe I feel when I'm in South Africa. Like, when I went back home for the first time, my family was just astounded at the lack of paranoia that I had when I was, just walking around the street. Like, I would walk with my phone out in my hand, in Bram, or I would wear short skirts in places where, like, it's known that as a girl, hawa apara skirt o apara borokgo, right? And then for me, it was like that paranoia that I'd been accustomed to, that I'd been, taught from a young age. As soon as I got to the US, it went away, because like people would always ask me, "Khaliso, Mara, why are you so paranoid? Like, no one's gonna come and do this, no one's gonna come and do that. Like, it's not that bad, is it?" And I'd have to explain the situation in South Africa, saying that, in South Africa, like, doing all of this, like me going out alone at 2 a.m. just because I heard there's a concert. No one wants to go to the concert with me. Let me just go to the concert alone. That is unheard of. Like, when I went to go see Beyonce, even explaining that to my family, they thought, "Ukuthi nangu amakhriya sangan," And I'm not saying that the US is in any way better than South Africa. By no means am I saying that. We know about the gun violence here. We know that gender-based violence exists here too. I don't think women have normalized it, but I think men expect us to normalize it because they're comfortable with the way that things are. And then they become uncomfortable when they are challenged about it. Because even with Twitter discourse, yeah, haha, cool. It's fun. It's fun in games when, like, Nigerians are speaking about, oh, HIV or whatever, and then South Africans make a job about Ebola. But when people well, it's not even fun in games. Actually, I'm being so facetious right now. I hope you could hear my facetious tone. But even for people to throw jabs like that, do you know why HIV is so rampant among young South African girls? Because of the rate of statutory rape and just rape in the country. It's not like young girls are going out lecturing HIV. Or even when it comes to talking about the rape in the country, people will be like, well, it's not as bad as we think, because it's just because a lot of women are reporting, but in other African countries, women don't report as much. So you're comfortable with the rate of rape in the country being that a woman is raped, I think, every 4 minutes. And you're comfortable with that just because it's worse in another African country. That means, number one, you're wishing bad on the women in other African countries. And number two, you're okay. You're okay with the lack of safety among South African women, right? And men will act like they are unaware about rape in the country, but, like, look how they act when their girls want to date boys, or look how they act when we have to speak about certain things like men are trash, or when they see that a man has been violated, will be like, oh, you guys always talk about rape among women. Why don't you ever talk about rape around men or among men? Oh, so you know that rape exists. Country says it wants progress, but I think this country or its men just want comfort. And even voting for a man to be my leader, I don't know how I feel about that because I've never met a good male leader. And I'm not even talking about good in the sense of ethics. And I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this, especially with how South African men have pigeonholed me. I don't know what image they've built of me in their head, but I think they think I'm a patriarchy princess or something, and that I agree with their politics. Because sometimes I be seeing them leave homophobic remarks under my page. I'm like, just go look at my pronouns before you leave those homophobic remarks. Or when people say things like, you're not like these woke feminists. Yeah, I'm even woker. You don't like the woke ones? Ah, you won't like me either. You think my research ends Gobo Bell Hooks and Audrey Lorde? Hmm. Well, wait till you find out about Oyerunke or Yohumi. Or hey, I mean, no, they're both on the same level, but like Oyerunke or Yohumi is like specific to the African context, to the Nigerian context, actually.